Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're back. We're rocking and rolling. We're going to break everything down as usual, but what a run from Tesla. I know I'm jumping ahead, but talking about just gapping and skipping, just gapping and going, gapped into that zone, played the back and forth game, full send, gapped up above that other zone, finally rejecting this top one at 195. So much for selling the 185 calls we talked about last night. We gapped up above that. Shout out to everybody that's selling the 200 calls. I know Cody was in here doing it a few times. I haven't done anything yet with it, but and after that, yeah, I don't know. And real quick, and we will get back to this. I'm sure it got called out in the list. But I think this, while we might be overbought, the reason why I haven't done anything, like I said in the chat earlier, I just think you're setting up for a squeeze. There's a lot of people that are short this. You want to call it rightfully so or whatever. It's just been trending down for a while. And this is how you catch the shorts with their pants down, and then it sends it. So I want to settle down first, and then at this point, I might even sell the 210s. You sold the 205, the 210s, the 215s, and the 220s. I just watched it go up. I was like, I'm just glad I bought more last week. Told you guys, if there was going to be anything, it was a surprise up. So shout out to everybody that took full advantage of that. The dollar. So you guys know I'm short the dollar. This does look like a bull flag, but I'm short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. And what a move. Now, you guys might not think, that's not even that big of a move. There are whole trading courses you could buy, everything that teaches you how to do it, with a goal of making 30 pips a week. This was 450 just in that move. That was ridiculous. Now, being short this, that was absolutely amazing to see in the morning. I did add on a little bit more. I do know the United States is mostly what's driving this. But if we go back here, the last time we were at this level, 1990. Some of you guys weren't even alive back then, it's so weird to say because I feel like everybody that's watching this should be at least from the 80s, maybe the 90s, maybe you were just born. Cody says he wasn't even alive. No. See, that doesn't even count. Doesn't matter. I hate this pattern. Hopefully it's a wedge and it plays out to the downside. Just reject, come down, come in hot. I do have this thing zoned out. I'm going to have to switch at this point. So U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, if you have my chart and you're looking at my zones, I always go to Owanda, but they only go back that far. I couldn't even get the data. So they just didn't have 1990 on there. Arguably, it's how relevant is it, but it is. So hopefully that does just head south a little bit further. And by a little bit further, I mean quite a bit further. Send this thing down. So still short the dollar, although that does kind of look like a bull flag. Bitcoin, still trending down. Buyers are still holding this blue level right here, the 62. Something to see. Right now, if it were to even bounce and even hit that yellow zone, it's still trending down. You could argue some sideways chop, but lower lows, are we going to put it? If it doesn't even make it to that zone, I would look at that as weakness and start to look for the drop down here to this 59 level. Alex, why can't you type on YouTube? Are you just not subscribed? I saw you in the Discord chat. Jump over to YouTube stream chat. Because this is it. All right. Russell. What do we do today? Hold on, nothing. I guess we still got to look out for a lower high. Nothing day so far as far as the Russell goes. A little bit green. Yeah, big deal. Nothing crazy. I couldn't really be bullish until it breaks above that. As far as now, these expected moves are right. TradingView's changing how they get their data. So when we go to the weekly, there's the weekly close. Here's your expected move. So when we jump down in here into these lower levels, we can actually just turn that off. There we go. These white lines are in the right spot for everyone that has my charts. Again, most of your stuff happened in the morning, and then a nothing day. We talked about this last night, about this week just probably being a whole bunch of chop. We have nothing today and tomorrow as far as catalyst-wise. We have the rate decision, which is going to be nothing, but I guess a lot of people are looking for, are they going to hint to something later? Are they going to hint to rate cuts or I guess adding increases? Whatever verbiage they think comes out there might move the market for a little bit, but it's going to be a nothing burger. I guess just keep an eye out on the volatility for that day. But tomorrow's going to be nothing. We have earnings. I want to say Amazon and AMD are to win it. We know they're this week. You guys know I went long both of those today. So that is tomorrow. And then Amazon. Okay, both of them are tomorrow. Sweet, and they're going up after hours. All right, let's get back to it. As far as tech goes, nothing. Drop down, hit the zone, pull back up. Chop day. There's nothing to go over here. Except for that Palantir play. I told you guys I was going to close. So this morning, you guys got alerted. I bought Amazon, but then I said I'm gonna close everything at the bell as far as my sold calls go in the growth account. Could have waited for the dip, close at the bell, and then I watched things drop, and I was like, I could have waited 5 minutes. Could have been all right. Spent a little bit more closing that stuff. But for like Palantir earnings, I want to make sure, and Hood, that I'm just not in any sold calls. I want to let the shares, if it goes up, I want to take full advantage of that. And if it goes down with the extra $20, I was going to make 20 cents, $20 per contract, 20 cents per share, however you want to view it. The risk just isn't worth it. Tech, nothing to break down. Tomorrow, that will likely chop. And then after hours, tomorrow will be the push for that. Probably send it up. Hopefully it sends it up because, I'm bullish. Or in bullish plays, at least. I will say, if we run into this, I will probably grab some kind of puts for the rate hike decision. Because I'm sure the Powell might come out sounding hawkish, and everyone's going to talk about how he's going to increase, or there's not going to be any rate cuts. And, I'm getting really burnt out on this whole rate thing. I guess the market needs an excuse for people to do things. But it's getting really annoying to even talk about. Is anybody else with me on that? I don't get how the other YouTubers are talking about it non-stop. Every time it's the same story. Just like, what if I just start changing the dates on some older videos? Powell's going to say something. We have tools at our disposal. We're going to keep rates the same and just watch the data. Let's just retitle some things. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. I'm just burnt on the whole rate thing. I can't wait for it to not be an excuse anymore. Qs, again, gapped up, nothing day. Everything that happened today we talked about last night. There's literally nothing that should surprise you or change anything. We literally called every bit of this out last night. Did not call out Tesla. That was the surprise move. So they did they partnered with Baidu. Baidu? Yeah, BYD. There's a big difference there. BYD. So their data, right? Partnership with China as far as the data met compliance for self-driving, and that just sent it. If I was a short, I would steer clear of this one. If the Tesla cult gets their pitchforks and torches, and it looks like they're carrying them. They might not lit the torches yet, but the pitchforks are out and they're starting to assemble. They're about to go for a march. The last thing I'd want to be is short Tesla and watch this cult following just start ripping this thing up. I see the Ford 1250s. My only one that's not in the cool kids club. Oh, they can't talk on YouTube? We talking about a tablet or something? Hey, put your call out in the call out section. Or Cody, can you just do that so I can? Because I'm gonna read from that list. Alex, just type it into the stream request, and then I won't have to worry about seeing it in the chat. I bet you had a better fill than 190 on Palantir. It filled at 182. Yeah. Still not a good fill. You got 190. Yeah, same. We're not far off. All right, let's get to the call outs. As far as Amazon's first one on the list. I guess read the question. Amazon, how to play earnings. I don't know. You make a decision, grab your little pebbles, and make a move. That's all you can do. There's no nonsense of this or that or anything like that. Earnings, there's going to be an announcement, and then it's going to go up or down. Now, you might be scratching your head like Brad used to do. Well, that's a head scratcher. You might really believe the story anyone's telling you. I don't know what to say to this. There really is, unless you pay for insider information, I just don't think there is a way to know how people are going to react. Because you've watched it a million times how it beats earnings, but it's red. It missed earnings, but it's green. Or it made it, and it's super green. Like, oh, was it really that good? And then everybody's asking, why is it that much? Like, stop. It's funny how the excuses, when they work, they line up, but when they don't work, it must be a different excuse, not the fact that their whole system is wrong. Anyway, you have a 170 put for next week, but kind of want the shares before earnings, or is it going to pull a meta? If I thought it was going to pull a meta, I wouldn't be in the calls. So you have the 170 put sold on that one. Can you just do both? I don't know. I'd probably just leave that one alone. I might even just do that with you. If Amazon were to sell off tomorrow, I might even sell some 170 puts with you. I wouldn't mind owning it there. Again, I don't care about a recession or whatever's about to come. I'm sure the sky's about to fall. I think the sky's going to fall about 4 or 5 more %. And then it'll be done falling. At that point, if any puts I sell, as long as it's a tech giant, which is what I'm selling puts on: Tesla, Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, Google. I have no problem riding that storm out. I'm in calls. I'll probably sell the puts with you. But you want the shares. If you want the shares, I guess if you have enough, if I had enough allocation just for one or the other, and I know I'm going to play it, I would probably close that put because it's up, and then I would buy the shares. Because how much did you collect for that put? Okay, and whatever, you're $100, $150 for one contract. Now, if it shoots up, it's going to be well more than your. Did I say that right? It's going to be a lot more than your $150. Now, if it sells off, yeah, you got your $150, but you also have assignment and then whatever else on top of that. So your red position is likely going to be red regardless. But if it's green and you have shares, it's going to be much bigger than your $150 you have on a put sold. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to put the money on the line and want to be there, I would lean more towards having the shares. Sofi, time to buy more. What a weird coincidence. It might be. If I really wanted more, I'd probably let fate decide. I'd sell some 7 strike puts, and then let fate decide. If it drops to this blue zone, you get assignment. Cool, big deal. You get to sell an at the money put. I wouldn't be too worried about this. Oh, you got $450? Okay, well, a little bit different than your 150 I was saying. Nothing's changed. That's like saying if it goes up, it's only going to go up $4. Like if Amazon beats, it's probably going up more than that. So change the numbers, the story does still stay the same for me. Final answer. If I was bullish, Sofi. Now, PayPal does have earnings tomorrow morning, so I think that's probably just going to move this. They already had earnings, so maybe not. Never mind. Oh, they beat. Just kidding. It's a head scratcher. It hit that yellow box and sold off with a bunch of green numbers. It's weird. Interesting. Let's just check PayPal out real quick. Oh, it's already tomorrow morning. I wonder if that's going to pull a Sofi. Because it's probably juiced up. Yeah, I would sell a 7 put. All right, Tesla. Because we just can't lose on this position, and by we I mean I, and if you follow my plays, well, you know how that goes. Just kidding. I'm really trying to joke, but I think I'm just so tired that it's just not coming out right. I do have a plan for Tesla. So you guys know for the next 3 weeks, 2 weeks now actually, I have the 160s puts sold on this. I think I'm going to keep 3 weeks rotating on Tesla. I am going to bump the strike up. I'm going to let the 160s go. The theta is just going to go. And then each Friday, I'm going to sell another put. Hopefully we sell off because I want to sell the 170s. So hopefully they're good. So, as this coming Friday, 160 is going to expire worthless. I'm going to sell the 170 for 3 weeks out. And then next week, it's going to be the same thing. So for the next 3 weeks at any given time, I will have puts sold. So it'll take 3 weeks to rotate to a new strike. Does that make sense? But I'm going to ride this train until I have 300 more shares or just a whole bunch of free internet money, which is all the 160s. Can you go over SPX? You jumped right into tickers. Is there a specific question you have about SPX? Because I already did it. It just chopped around. It did nothing. And we talked about SPX last night. Everything we said last night happened today, and it's still the same. So do you have like a specific question, Streams? Did you miss last night's stream? Just go over it real quick. Nothing. A little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit of nothing. Right here at a speed bump zone. Tomorrow's probably going to be the same. Hopefully AMD and Amazon are bullish. Maybe we can grind this thing up a little bit. That's my alert to go short right there. Again, we talked about that. We put that alert there last night. Again, if there's any specific question you have, don't get me wrong, I'll answer it 100%. I don't want you to think I'm being lazy or skipping it. There's just nothing to talk about on a day like today. Most of that was overnight and then just chopped around. You're not going to wait for red days to sell Tesla puts? I will try to time it the best I can. Yeah. But I want those shares, so I don't know how picky I am going to be. If I see a pullback coming, I might wait from Monday to a turnaround Tuesday. Like right now, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. Hopefully we pull back tomorrow. Then yeah, rock and roll. But I'll have to see that setup. If I think we're overbought, yeah, I'll wait to sell a put. I don't want a gap and go day and then decide to sell an out of the money put. It's going to be worthless. But at the same time, that allocation is set aside for Tesla shares, and I do want the shares. Just like everybody else. Dividend on. Amazon will probably announce dividends. I hope so. Gosh, that's going to be hilarious. And you guys are never going to hear the end of Divvy Don for short. Streams, I need you to comment. I wasn't mean, was I? Did I answer your question? This is why I need Monster, guys. If I don't have a Monster, I sound like this. It's probably why I don't have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, because I just don't jump around in my chair and do circles and only show you the winners. SMCI. Gosh, they have Don Mean, please. SMCI's earnings tomorrow. Like we talked about last night, I would be bullish, but that's cautiously bullish. This particular one, instead of just going a naked call, I'd probably do an in-out spread, roulette it, and it's going to expire this Friday. And you could take that tomorrow, because it's going to be one call in the money, one call out of the money. And it's on a $900 ticker, I might do $10 wide. I might do a couple of those. So just doing one of those $10 wide, I should split the super easy. The shaded area, the not shaded area. It's where it gets its name, in-out spread. I would spend $500 505 if I really wanted to get in. I'd put the order out. And it's got a roulette. It's going up or it's going down, just like putting your money on red or black. And that way, I'm not paying a whole lot for even an out-of-the-money call. I'm not going just deep with an at-the-money call. I don't have that kind of conviction in this. But it's cheap. If I want more, I'll stack a few more on. If you don't have a monster, do you at least have a coupon code expiring tomorrow? I will say, so the Teachable website was down for a little bit, and somebody did buy the course, so I opened it back up. So not really a coupon code. If you go to donfranshow.teachable.com, this is quite literally your last chance, and the price goes up. I've said that before, but I promised this one person, they just got around to it, so that's the best I could do. You want to jump on that train? You probably have 48 hours at best. It's still for sale. Everything's good. It's going to be on a different website, and it's going to cost a lot more. Also, not everyone can get in. There is a conversation that needs to be had first before you get in. Yeah, who dis? That's a very real situation. Everyone in the Discord, read who dis's last comment in the YouTube stream chat. If you send Don a pallet of Monster, he will find you a discount. Please don't, but I will discount you the cost of that and shipping, 100%. You know what? I'll double it. Do we still get to buy into the company? That is over. Yeah. If you had any interest, I guess you could DM me for something, but for now, let's continue on with the stream. Bullish, yeah, final answer after looking at this. Bullish and outspread. Because of the sector it's in, I wouldn't do an iron condor. I wouldn't buy an iron condor. I think, yeah, because you go sell an iron condor out here and it surprises. You're gonna have one that paid more than the other, and it's gonna be that one that really loses. The other one didn't protect you at all. You go buying it, it's gonna shoot up, wick back down, and it's gonna pass all your metrics while the market's closed. Come back in tomorrow, it's gonna dud out, and then your iron condor that you bought or sold, worthless, or worse, a loser. If you go in out spread, it needs to move $5 up or down. Like, that's all it needs to do for you to make 100%, and that's why I would just leave it at that. Like, don't work hard, just go in the right direction, which is, if I were doing it, it'd be a call spread, and that would just be it. All right, Nvidia. We talked about this last night on Zoom, but I don't think it was before I hit the record button. And I debated on even going over this tonight. But I will say, as far as their year-over-year growth, this is going to be their last earnings where they compare it to the bar being set at the floor level. Next earnings, they're going to be compared to the previous earnings where it blew everyone's minds. So it's not going to be we grew 1,000,000% anymore. It's going to be year over year, we grew not as much, and I don't know if that's going to shock everybody. And I think for now, I'm bullish. For now, I'm bullish this next earnings, and I'm bearish the following earnings for that very reason. But that's 120 days out, so I reserve the right to change my opinion. For now, I think bull flag. I just haven't gotten in this one yet. It's a big one. A big one would just be YOLOing for earnings, because when I take earnings plays, I buy at the money calls or puts. I don't do the stuff that shows up on Instagram later where people think they knew what they were doing. For now, holding above that zone, I would just be bullish. We spent a lot of time in this range, and we technically just got back into it. Doesn't mean anything as far as these red lines go, but we did have there was a lot of attention at these levels. And to hold this level right now, I'm curious, is that the W pattern? Where's Lori and Lisa? Where are you at? Good old-fashioned the W. But put us right back in there. Does it hold? Did we just click that kind of like a ratchet? Just one click up, and now we're not going back? Not to say that we can't, but is that what just happened and it's too soon to tell? And then we just jack around inside here. That's a very clear W pattern, by the way. Oh, technician. What are you thinking? Thinking about leaps on Boeing. Yeah, I hear their planes fly a lot better when they lose some weight mid-flight. Thinking about a leap and selling some calls against it. So counter spread, poor man's covered call. Do I have to buy deep in the money like the 80 deltas for it to work, or could I go cheaper? You could go cheaper, yeah. 80 deltas, you're in the territory of a synthetic long position where people will buy, instead of buying the shares, they'll buy deep in the money. So they're still controlling the same amount of shares. Capital wise, they spent a lot less. Some strong arguments for that too, because if they announce they're going bankrupt, you lost that call option, not the price of all those shares. You could certainly go cheaper, but when you calendar spread it like that, the strikes, you limit yourself a lot as far as what you can sell against it as what's it called? Collateral. Cody says, "Why are we buying Boeing leaps?" Hey, that's a big assumption there on the whole we part. I'd be careful on the we. He says, I've never done a poor man's. Okay, Merlin is thinking of selling the 140 puts when they get juiced on Boeing. Okay, Merlin probably has a reason for that. I wanted a game plan on what Don would do. I post everything I would do. And you notice I don't have any Boeing right now? That's what I would do. I would take that capital and I would put it into Amazon and Google. Some things I need that I feel like I need to beef up. And I am in the AMD and Amazon calls with you because I'm so mad I didn't follow Google. Oh, I appreciate that. But I peanut buttered it because I'm poor. Did you grab a spread? Please tell me about a spread. Oh, for everyone that doesn't know what he's talking about, I bought leaps in Google. And then, yeah, Google went up. But just because I'm not tooting my own horn, I kill it on absolutely kill it on a play, does not mean my next two are. I forgot I had calls on Google. Okay, that's what you're not talking about the leaps. You're talking about the calls I just had on Google. That is one of the worst plans of entry I think I'll hear. Not the first time I've heard it, but I killed it on an earnings play. All right, so I flipped the coin. The ref flipped the coin. I called heads, and it landed on heads. And like, God dang, I'm gonna follow him on every coin flip he does from now on. Ref flips the coin again. You heard me say heads, so you say heads, and you put a bunch of money on it. Because I can tell you right now, the allocation I have towards AMD and Amazon, probably a lot less than yours. Percentage-wise. I have more than your account in these, but percentage-wise, nothing. And this goes back to the conversation we had before. You have to play what your account allows you to. And if it's beginner, newer, lower funds, depending on where your account's at, you just can't afford the earnings plays. My biggest reason for taking earnings plays, honestly, it isn't the wins or the losses. I love winning, don't get me wrong, but this is so monotonous. There's only so many ways these candles can go, and that's what people on YouTube can't figure out yet, right? It's going to be a little red or a little green, medium red, medium green, or a big red or a big green, and do that for 11 years. The earnings at least kind of like break it up a little bit, kind of just have a little fun. I could literally flick the light switch up and down and just yell big money, big money, big money as I'm watching the charts, hoping I affect it some way. So to rush into that like it's any sort of strategy is a fast track out because you'll be really upset when you lose. And I'll say, that sucks, I lost, and I'm already on to the next ticker. You guys don't do that? You spent $100 on both combined? Okay, well. Okay, and you got spreads? Okay. Well, at least what you did was defined risk, and for your account size, yeah, that's you could literally panhandle and make that money back in an hour. I'm glad to hear that. But for everyone else, you heard what I said. Okay? Leave the egos out of it. You can either afford to take the gambles or you can't, but make no delusions in your head that it's anything but a gamble on that. Period. Again, it's a binary event. There's going to be an announcement, and after that announcement, there's going to be a reaction. That announcement does not lead to what the reaction is. There's just going to be some numbers, and people are going to freak out and do one thing or the other. And that's it. No whammies, no whammies. I don't even know what that means, but I know it involves gambling, and it makes it funny. Earnings are both red and green at the same time. Exactly. Some of the best streams I have been like live with Brad when I'm like, it's in a zone. I'm gonna go along, and then it does sell off. I'm like, and then everybody just roasts me and tells me how much they're gonna be up in the morning, and then come morning, I'm the one that's up, and that's the best thing to get into. Hey, hang on a second. Yeah. Sorry. Just a. Am I allowed to show this? Tooth Fairy's coming tonight. What do you guys know about that? Anyway, hang on. Family emergency. 1 second. Okay. All right. Little one had a really loose tooth, and she said, "Can you pull it out?" Stocks get boring, so people like to play earnings reports. Yeah, I'm on board with that. So if you ever come to me and say, "What's your roulette strategy? You're putting your money on red. I'm gonna try 7 and 13." I don't care. I'll have those talks for sure. Why is it saying there's a lag? But anyway, I just want to be sure that's out there, right? That's clear. All right. PayPal earnings in the AM. Go fishing pre-market with a limit buy order. Okay. If I wanted to get filled, 64.50, and that's my alert right there. I'll check it out in the morning. I might actually buy this one tomorrow morning if that alert. If we just go zone to zone tomorrow on earnings, I haven't been in PayPal in a while. It's a pretty decent one to trade. It's got some movement. If it hits that, I will. If I want to go fishing, I would put my order at 63. See if I can't get a wick down to there and just get some emotional someone coming in. That looked like a $200 tooth. No, the going rate, $10 first tooth, $5 after that. Yeah, let's just make that official right now. There were some parents. I don't think she watched this, but I'm gonna out Colleen right now. Her daughter got $20 for a tooth. I'm like, what are we doing? These kids are too young to just be sporting that, and they're gonna start knocking their teeth out. She ran out of bills, so she says. But parents, the going rate, $5. Let's normalize that. All right, PayPal, $63. Final answer. Google and Meta. Listen, Meta's kind of a sore spot for me right now. All right. Is that the expected move for? We're already there. Pulling back, huh? Gosh, I just want it a little bit more. So Google is a position I want to add to. Google and Amazon. Hopefully we're going for the gap fill. People can talk about that. 2 standard deviations should put us right around here. The gap fill is going to be down here, by the way. I'm going to put my alert right here at 160. If it hits that, I'm for sure adding on. Cody was those teeth for $20. No knee-jerk reaction yet, but I would be looking for the dip buy on this. What I would say and don't think happens is a complete all the way down here. I mean, if you shoot up that much and you give it all back, that's not a good sign at all. You want to hold on to some of it. Pulling back to the halfway mark, that's amazing. You got the Fibonacci people, it's just a decent pullback. You got the Elliott Wave and all their timelines. They're on there. They're on board. You got a lot of buyers right around that halfway mark. There's a lot of courses, I'm sure, that will sell you that. It could probably all fit on a pamphlet. But I'm going to go right there. Old resistance. The Tooth Fairy got jitters. Meta. So Meta, what I'm watching for is the expected move this week. Right here. Just this range. Now, I don't care if it comes down to here. It comes down to the 420 mark. All jokes aside, I'm sure someone wants to make it. We hold this. That's fine. Breaking that, I do think we're coming a little bit lower. At that point, people will talk about a gap fill. That puts you at the 395 mark. Also, where I will sell more. I say puts like I'm just going to be rocking 10 of these things. It's hard not to buy the dip on Meta. For now, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If we have just a whole bunch of inside candles, then I think we're good. I do think we eventually turn that ship around. CAD JPY. Wow, just played the back and forth game and then just went on send it mode. They must have what? Oh, it is the Japanese yen. Never mind. I would be short this. Pure technicals play. I just think the Japanese yen is in some territory that's just going to garnish a lot of attention, and I think they're going to reel things back in. So that's why I would be short. That's why you saw this. You guys, especially if you're a stock trader, you guys probably think it's just normal red candle. This is what you call an earthquake in Forex. And you don't know this until it happens, but that moves your account. It's a spicy one. And that's why I say if you guys ever want to trade Forex, that's where scams used to live before Bitcoin and before cryptocurrency. This was the home for it. So be careful who you watch on that. But that's why I do say if you want to trade Forex, it's amazing, right? There's no PDT rule, no account minimum, stuff like that. It's a sideways market. You might think it looks the same, but it is a different animal. So be careful on the Forex thing. Because if you think your risk was based off of this, and then that happens, hopefully it's a paper account. I'll put it that way. Ultimately, though, we did hold that level. So we need that to break. Now, you can look at this wick right here. Bearish below, bullish above. I do think if we break that again, we're probably headed south. So hopefully that's kind of a bear flag setup, and that's what's going on. Right now, if I were to call that the high or low, I would be long. My stop would be below this green wick. I got 200 shares put to me last Friday, and we'll probably get 200 more this Friday on Meta. Put up a fight, Lori. You can roll those one more time. All right. New scale power, SMR, modular nuclear power plants. I'm going to put one in my basement. Can be used to power data centers or my trading center. Need more power. Order another module from the factory and have it delivered to your location. So we got a pump and dump. We got a drop, base, drop. That's a... If I were to... Again, this could be put in my course for price action. My head's in the way. Drop, base, drop. And then, yeah, so there's your area of attention. Gapped around it. Held it. Right inside there. Rejected. And we're coming into it right now. And plenty of action before. This sounds more like something you might invest in than really be rocking as a trade. I can't move those zones. Those are... I thought about maybe fine-tuning it up here, but... we will fine-tune that one just a tad. Bullish above, bearish below. It is creeping its way up. It gets a little excited, comes back down. Overall, kind of keeping this trajectory, however long that lasts. It's forming a pretty nice reverse megaphone. That's proprietary. Smack dab in the middle of the zone. I'd probably wait for a dip buy. Options are probably nothing on this. And that price point, I wouldn't be selling anything. Given what it is, I would be curious to... Provides proprietary, innovative, advanced, small modular reactor nuclear technology with a mission to help power the global energy transition by delivering safe, scalable, and reliable carbon-free energy. Founded 2007. This is one I'm going to go live with Mike, and we'll talk about as far as an investment goes. You guys have heard me on Don Fran's show talk about how if there's going to be a snag, a hang-up, a bottleneck, it will be physically turning the lights on at these data centers. And where something like this is something you can take advantage of. For now, I would go risk and capital. That factory, that default stop loss, my stop loss would be $6.07 away on that. That's it. -0, did you have a question? He says that zone on the US dollar Japanese yen is from 1990. Yeah. And it did rock a 450 pip move. Let's see. You can skip. You answered the question already. Well, let's do it anyway. Finally got my IRA fund and able to trade. I don't know why this reminded me of this. I did see on Facebook. Pretty sure I told you guys about this, but someone said they've been stacking all this money away in a Roth IRA, never actually allocating it to anything. They were so upset posting on Facebook. How come no one told me you had to actually buy stuff in your IRA? They thought they'd just put their money into a magic, account, and I guess the tooth fairy drops off money. Yeah, fun fact, it's a tax advantage trading account or investing account. All right, first trade, Amazon sold to open the 165 put for the third. Collected $177. Delta's in the teens. I like it. Just want to double check to see if on the right path. Yeah, just I guess the question usually isn't the trade, it's how are you going to manage that trade. And in this account, you'll probably keep the shares, maybe roll it a couple weeks until theta just isn't much. Eventually, you get assigned the shares. Are you going to run the wheel on it or just keep it as is and rock it? Or if it shoots up and you got the free $177, do it again. Rinse and repeat. Let's see. Thoughts on the pump and dump hollow? Sounds like it's going to do like all the other pump and dumps do, right? It goes up, comes back down. Usually comes down a little bit, pushes up one more time, gets that lower high, makes the Batman pattern, and then sells off. Charlie made a video about it. Okay, we can go over it real quick. Did you see the premium on the options this week? Premium is nuts. Vega is amazing on Tesla. Yes. Cody, how many times? 1, 2. You traded Tesla 3 times. The 200, the 205, and the 205. Technician is dreaming of this right now. Can I pull that up, Cody? You're in the 205s now. Technician's like, I can't wait. Can't wait to get above PDT. So he's in Tesla. Tesla shot up. So he sold the 200. Sell to open. Sold the 200 call for $340. Tesla pulls back. So he buys to close that contract back for 204. So $136 right there. Then Tesla pops back up. So he sells the 205s for $330. And then it falls back down. And he buys it back for $245. Pops back up. Sells that exact same one for $270. Just a bunch of, that's, when anytime we're talking about free internet money, that's what I'm talking about right there, is just selling calls. Basically collecting rent on your shares. At this point, Tesla is more an Airbnb than it is a single-family home. Free Amazon shares. Yeah. Do I have a stop loss on the U.S. dollar Japanese yen short? Listen, I don't want to talk about it. I do. And, in fact, that's a talk we had last night. But and the one thing you guys probably aren't noticing or haven't put together, I'm trading the U.S. dollar Japanese yen on a monthly time frame. I've been in it a while. I've watched those numbers move a lot. They were a lot green. I did lock some of it in, and now they're just a lot red. But we are getting close. If it gets past that zone, I have to. I'll get back in short later. I'm not gonna just ride that to the end of time. But all jokes aside, I am on a monthly time frame, so it's gonna be a lot wider than you're used to seeing me talk about. Google, I bought my call back. Need to sell a new one eventually. I would hang tight on Google for a second. I really would. Let's see if it pulls all the way back or if it snaps this thing back up. Now, if it does do that, then yeah. But what I'd want to see is the selling off stop and then have a decent green day. Okay, Ford 1250s for Alex. 1250s for what? Should I grab 15 to 25 shares of Amazon before earnings on margin, of course? No, Cody, I think what I don't want you to do is get ahead of yourself and start making silly decisions that will spiral you right into emotional trading. Last thing you want to do is be on margin and watch it tank. You want some cash on the side. If you're just going to do it no matter what, can I talk you into like 5 or 10, not 15 to 25? Okay, Alex, what is he doing? He's probably in the 1250 puts, if I'm guessing that right. He usually buys calls or puts at these. He's not usually a seller. If I wanted to add more shares, I guess, yeah, I'd sell the 1250s. Can you spot me some mortgage money while we wait for the U.S. dollar Japanese yen to come back to earth? Asking for a friend. Let me know if you got any of those cool friends. As far as buying the puts, I never know what to say on these because they're just so cheap. It's nothing I actually do, so to speak to it, we're flirting with breaking that zone, but not really. Right now it's holding. It's a zone until not. If I was going to really short it, then I'd... He sold the 1250 calls. I was in the wrong chat this whole time. Thank you. Now, if you sold the 1250 calls, are you going to let your shares go? Because right now, and I would probably make that decision now, I would roll the 1250s to next week and get a full week of extra theta on there. And then if it's just up here and up and away, good. You got an extra week out of it. If it sells back off, it expires worthless. You get to do it again. Streams, I have the 485s. Right? Cody's in it with me. I want to say I have the 485s. 495s? Okay. I know it ends in a 5. I know either way it's worth as much as the 485s. Isn't Ford the Boeing of automobiles? Kind of, but the doors don't fly off when you drive down the highway. I think probably GM is the Boeing of automobiles. If you're lucky enough to get your Chevy to start and it makes it to the highway, you got to question if your doors are going to fall off, if what you just went over was a speed bump, or if it was actually just your transmission falling out from underneath. You never know with Chevys. Now, like I said, it's a zone until not. But I do, maybe we pop up here a little bit more. I do think that does fade and come back down here, though. Then Cody says the SPY put is wrecked. Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Because it was right. Yeah, it was right back here. We've been in it for a little bit. It is the last week of June. It had popped up. It was this day right here. Because I went a little bit out of the money, grabbed some 495s. And that's because I think we were going to pop back up, and I do think we come back down, which is why there's no stop loss. Nothing like that. It is just, I don't think we're done yet. I do think we end this sell-off at around the 9% mark. It's going to be right here. So that's why I gave it time for that. And this alert right here is where I will add on to that. Cody's made $250 by selling puts against it. Yeah, mine is more an airbag play. Airbags, I'm typically out of the money. I want to spend less. This was a decent, I guess, a hedge. So I didn't sell anything against it. Hope Tesla robots don't break like this. Turn the volume up. I can't play that right now. Mine was a hedge too, but I like to hedge my hedge. We're trending up. Yeah, that wasn't that serious of a. If I have any real capital out there, then yeah, I'm doing something to collect rent on it. But right now, I'm trying to hoard and get as many shares of the AI tickers that I've been talking about as I can. So that's where I'm at, which arguably would be more of a case for what you're doing. But I hear your words, but I just won't understand without either a paintbrush or the bars pattern. Okay, you know what? Let's call this out. We'll speak this into existence. And by speaking into existence, I will show you guys how to factually come up with where this thing's going to go. Okay? Right about so grim. Okay. That's how that's going to pan out. Just saying. Coincidence? Coincidence all those zones just lined up like that? Look at that. We're gonna get below this one, check it from the bottom, send it to that one. We're going to fake everybody out, play the back and forth game, full send to the correction territory. That is also where I buy a lot of the forward ES contracts. I will buy at the money calls, and that is where I will be on a shopping spree for leaps. So if there's ever anything you do, maybe future videos you watch of mine, You hit that subscribe button. Maybe you don't turn the bell on. You just check this channel again right around this time right here on SPY. And then you come back. I'm thinking about buying a Chinese ETF. You got any recommendations, advice for me? I do not. Give me some tickers. Maybe I can help out with some technical analysis, but it's nothing that I'm in, so I really can't speak to it. I could probably make a compelling case, but I would just be selling you a position I know nothing about, which would be silly on both of our parts to even entertain that, if I'm being honest. But I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll see you beautiful people bright and early in the morning for what's going to be another choppy day, I'm sure. Choppy day, after hours, get a little bit of excitement. Wednesday, we'll have a whole lot of nothing until the decision. So hopefully tomorrow is green. Hopefully we send it and my alert goes off on the S&P. Preferably because Amazon and AMD do so well, it just moves the market up. And then we load up on shorts. We come out with Powell and his puts, and we just come out smelling like a rose. Hang on, I did say I would go over hollow. What in the world do you want me to break down on this? Are you out of your mind? Let Charlie break this stuff down. You know I'm just going to make fun of you for this. What do I think about this? My stop loss would be $2.47 away. And if I made literally anything on this, I'd be thrilled. It has a good history. We just saw the history before I zoomed in. Here's your history. That's banging. Yeah, technician, there's a reason why I make money doing this, and it's typically because I don't buy stuff that looks like that. Full send. And also, no hate to Charlie. He's one of the few other YouTubers that I've actually just text from phone to phone, not a Discord message or anything like that. If he ever went live or anything like that, I would genuinely chat with him. But when you go searching for these plays like this, how many are you going to lose before one does pop off? Is that a bad chart? It's phenomenal. It's good for whoever went short at $30. Kind of reminds me of when I short Nikola. Good old days. There's nothing to break down on this for me. I'm sure if there's a catalyst. The cool thing about Charlie's, his channel has gotten so big. There's a lot of gamblers out there that just want that quick fix. There's a lot of human emotion to really piggyback off of. And that's not on Charlie's part. That's just how people are. That's why casinos are so rich. But his channel is so big that if he does put out a video, it draws some extra attention. You tighten up those spreads a little bit. Maybe it does send it. And if anybody was actually short this, are we going to create a short squeeze? Who's worried about the last $2? Okay, if I'm short this from 30, I rode this thing all the way down, and what's my best case scenario? It goes to 0. I'm $2 away from that. I'd call that a success. I'd have no problem. You wouldn't catch me in a short squeeze on this. Oh yeah, you got me. I bought out of my position. Have fun, nerds. You know, I just made 1,000,000%. Of course I don't care. I think Charlie is very entertaining. Yeah, don't get me wrong, guys. Again, I don't mention other YouTubers' names unless I actually count, like, what do I say, like them, you know? The whole emotions thing, I don't know how to say it. But if they're bad and I genuinely don't like them, I might talk about what they did and why what they said was bad, but I won't actually name them. Charlie, I think, is a great YouTuber. Maybe he just wants to know when you think it will hit 0. Well, we're on a pretty good path now. I'd give it at least July before they reverse split and send it again. All right, last one that I really am going to get out of here. Thoughts on Baba. I wanted to check this one out because if there's times I'm just full patriot, not buying anything Chinese. But then there's times I just want some China exposure. And it's usually Baba or Neo. More Baba than anything else. I will say it's holding this nicely. Interesting. Hang on a second. I wonder if I can get in this. I might make some money on this tomorrow. What are the deltas at? I could sell the 75s and make $50. What about next week? This week's toasted off. We're expecting a $4 move. It puts it at 72. So we sell the 70. So you're making about $50 a week on this. Never mind. Premium kind of sucks. JD. Everyone always brings up JD. I don't know why I don't like it, or it's just kind of one I just never really gravitated towards. Hollow is the scariest chart I've ever seen. You haven't been around long enough. Hollow, I would just say, is very mediocre as far as what that chart looks like. As far as Alibaba goes, if I could just put a limit buy at 71 and let my watch vibrate when it lets me know that I bought some shares, do that. I'd sell the 71 put. The 73 is what was paying $50, so I would want that right there at that zone. If I bought some shares right now, I would sell the 78 calls, if not the 80s. If I'm on the call side, you could sell the 80s, $68. So you could buy it right now, 76. Sell the 80s. It'd essentially be just shy of you selling of 81. But you could probably do that for a couple weeks. If I were to get into Baba right now, there's some kind of options activity on it. I don't know if it's one I would buy if I couldn't afford 100 shares. If I couldn't afford 100 shares, I'm probably just going to wait for the dip buy. If I can afford 100 shares and I can buy the shares now and start selling calls and start attacking it, albeit a little garden shovel, I would entertain that. Just because it's kind of flattening out. It's had a decent sell-off. We're kind of at we're at least holding this level. Enough for me to entertain holding it until that breaks. Now, it could break up, could break down. At that point, I'm out. I still have a line in the sand. I still have an exit strategy. But in the meantime, I'll collect rent until that house burns down, which would be right about this mark right there. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you beautiful people tomorrow morning. Have a good one.